And welcome back to another episode of the Day After Podcast.
So Joe, um, I have like something I want to tell you now that we started this off.
Uh huh.
I signed on to a different podcast and I you have to delete all the videos on this channel because they own all the property and every intellectual thing Survivor.
They own
Is
all
that a bad thing
Survivor
to do?
rights.
Is that a bad thing to do?
Is that a bad thing to do? Well, yes,
Did I
we're
make mistakes?
yes. You, do you not see how that is a bad thing?
I don't know. I was just like in the moment and whatnot. Um,
uh,
What is up, guys? We are here for Survivor 46, episodes 3 and 4. Yeah, we got some stuff to talk about, and most of it revolves around Banu. This was like the Banu double.
yeah,
This was like the Banu double episode in a lot of sense. Saved by an unfortunate event, only to be voted out in the very next because was just no.
yeah. Yeah. This episode has gotten or these two episodes especially have gotten a lot of discourse in the Survivor community. Mostly because Yanu is an awful tribe to like watch for a long period of time, and we've been getting a lot of Yanu, and it's like nothing really interesting is happening in terms of gameplay over there. It's just kind of been a mess with three people in charge who aren't exactly the most rootable people. Like, I'm sure that they're great when you get to meet them, but like from what we're being shown, they're not being put in a great light.
I think now that Banu was gone, we might see some different colors from them.
Yeah.
That's all I'm really gonna say. But yeah, it's like I don't know. It's funny because Jeff mentioned this thing the other day, with the whole Banu thing, and it's like, well, if you look at them, and like some people are like, how the heck did you cast Banu and I didn't get on this show? Um, I was like, well, they were still they were still helping out Banu. Like, when
Yeah.
he was going home, you know, Kenzie was still like being there and was like, hey, I'm sorry that this is happening. Like a
Uh-huh.
human moment. Tiffany was real with him and everything. And like even before all of that, Q was like teaching him how to, talk and whatnot and strategize.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of the
That's
Bono hate comes from the fact that I think these two episodes are on the 90-minute spectrum. We get a lot more content. And I think normally we would have gotten three or four confessionals of Banu here, where instead of like per episode, whereas we got a 10 and a 13 episode for each confessional. So we're getting just way too much of this. Whereas I think if we had a smaller dosage of Banu,
you
it could have been
said
better.
10 or wait, were those the actual numbers?
Yeah, yeah, those were the confessionals he got. He got 13 last episode and 10 this episode. So, um, yeah, that's why it's like we got way too much of him for what was happening on his tribe.
It's way I can't wait to know what the stats are for that. That's nuts.
Yeah, he has more confessionals, by the way, than Parvati Shallow in Micronesia. He has more confessionals at the end of the season or of him getting voted out.
Than her entire season.
Yeah, her winning season.
God, I love numbers so much.
Yeah, it's a wild stat. It is by far the biggest pre-merge like votes. I believe that in terms of like per at like how many confessionals you get per episode, there's only two people who have more per episode than him, and they were first boots who got crazy huge confessionals in their boot episodes. So yeah, it's wild.
Dude, man. And I mean, like, obviously, and it's kind of it's ironic that it's a purple tribe again, but it's kind of like the Tika 3. where it's
Hmm.
like because so much drama and it's because they keep losing and it's become such a huge plot point. And all except, I would say, with the Orange Tribe, there hasn't been too much discourse. Like Green
Hmm.
Tribe, we're about to see stuff in episode 5 with the idol and whatnot.
Hmm.
But like so far, compared to what, you know, the Nanu tribe is going through, it's just kumbaya the whole way.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really not being shown because they're not having to go to tribal. At least with like the Nami tribe, we're seeing a little bit of like Tevin and even Hunter though. Hunter has the least amount of confessionals, but I feel like he's so visible. Like
I don't know, because he's like, well, one, I feel like him getting his own little section counts as
Mhm.
like a couple of confessionals. Like
Yeah.
we got to see his home. We got to see like his entire living room is basically a warehouse
Yeah.
for these things. He is crushing in these challenges. Um, Honestly, the only gruff we're really getting on that tribe. I mean, in episode 3, there was a little stuff between like, obviously Venus being on the outs and like Randon
Mhm.
kind of being in that same ballpark. But, other than that, it wasn't a major thing.
Mhm.
The most like drama we get on this thing is Soda singing and then Hunter just rolling his eyes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Kumbaya all the way on the Sega tribe.
Yeah. Yeah, Kumbaya on Sega. Venus, though, every episode is basically hated on everyone on her tribe. Like she has had a confessional dissing every single person that is left for her. So, yeah, that's definitely interesting over there. But yeah, I want to go back to Yanu here because I feel like another interesting thing that I feel is happening in Modern Survivor in the production side is I just feel like they're trying to create disaster tribes. And I feel like it like especially some seasons, it feels like there's a very clear this tribe is bad. It's usually been on the Tika beach. Like I feel like there's been at least like 3 of the seasons of the bad tribe being on that beach. I don't know if Yanu was on that beach. I would love if someone would say what each beach where they were in previous seasons because
I'm
um
sure that data is out there.
yeah.
But dude, yeah, I've kind of noticed that too. And I think one thing that is pretty hard about Modern Survivor, other than the fact that it's 3 tribes
Mhm.
and whatnot, the thing is, it's like if you keep taking away the fire and they're not able to, it's just like a thing of like, oh, they're being pound down
Yeah.
because if they can't set up anything for themselves, they're just going to get keep pounding down. It's like they're not able to gain any momentum. I mean, they were able to in the reward challenge, which is always how it goes. They're
Uh-huh.
able to win the reward challenge, but then when it comes to the immunity, and this is a trope we've seen all the time, but I also think part of it is you have so much more advantage when you're on the winning side of things
Yeah.
because you also get to choose who to sit out. Like, there's
Yep.
no one that's gonna like stop your tribe from doing it if like, oh, we'll have some of our not we'll have some people that are more liabilities in this challenge, and we'll have the others sitting on the next. Um, or like we'll do it for the reward because the reward's not necessary,
Uh-huh.
and so like, but we'll have them sit out for the immunity where we need our strongest challenge competitors.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So I mean, yeah, it's really rough. Going 9 days now without Flint and the ability to make fire. Um I mean, it's really hard for anyone to build momentum, especially when you're just kind of used to losing all the time. Like that is definitely also something that gets into your head of can we even beat these other tribes? So it's definitely gonna be tough uh for them moving forwards. But yeah, that's something that I've just noticed, at least in the production side, is I just feel like they want because normally it's fun. I think the idea
Because
of a
42 and 43 are, I think, the only seasons where that didn't happen.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because 41 had that with the Uwa tribe. that they lost pretty much everything except I think one immunity challenge.
Yeah,
Um, and then yeah, with 44 was Tika, and then 45 was Lulu. So yeah.
yeah. And now here we're back with Nanu. But that is weird. Some people are I'm starting to see some Survivor friends be like, maybe just bring it back to two tribes of like
Yeah.
9 or 10 and
Yeah.
whatnot.
And I do think they need to just give them at least like a small bag of rice to get through the pre-merge along with the Flint. I just feel like we want to see them play, and like just kind of reducing their ability to even really do that
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a limiting factor. It's not helping the experience. It's just limiting the
no,
people.
because then this is 3 seasons in a row, and maybe production will catch on to this, but this is 3 seasons in a row
Mhm.
where it's been like a decimation of the tribe, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like even Tika in or in 44, like they also lost or they won one challenge and then the Green Tribe ended up going.
Mhm.
So like they weren't even that bad in the beginning, but it was just kind of like steamrolled. Like the other two tribes lost people, but it was so much loss on the other tribe that it mitigated all that.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like if you lose back to back challenges, it becomes like that third one is really tough to kind of do. And if you lose that, then it's like, kind of please swap or please merge at this point. Which I feel like we were kind of due for a swap. I feel like we kind of need it because it at least kind of gives a chance for a tribe that is losing early to do something.
Thing is, they didn't mention in the thing,
Yeah, I don't
and
think we're
also
getting
yeah,
it.
no, the I don't know. I don't think they might. Usually they
Yeah.
advertise if there's going to be a trap swap.
Yeah, I think that because this season was originally supposed to be 60-minute episodes per one, I think the swap was cut out of this season compared to the previous one. Like we know that there's some things they took out of this season purposefully, like the auction, because they thought it was only going to be an hour. Um, so I feel like that's something that they probably cut. That's why the idols are probably like kind of with that twist of like you got to come back after your tribe loses a challenge. Like they probably will, and they have that role in case like you don't go, but I think that's going to
Yeah,
just be for the merge. I feel like they wanted to give as much time as possible to that twist to let people be able to find it.
yeah. Um, that's an interesting thing too, because we don't know what that rule is. They kind of
Mhm.
mentioned the rule, but they didn't say what it was.
Yeah. Also, if you want to really dig into it, Jem is the one who said that role, whereas no one else has. So I have a pretty good feeling that that means that she's going to go to the next portion without going to tribal.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. My thing is what I find interesting too is that they went back a couple days
Mhm.
for they were like, oh, this is like 4 days earlier or something like that when they did their idol hunt for it,
Uh-huh.
which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Normally, like they don't care about the days really. Like they'll put something earlier in a season or later into the season at whatever time they want. So
yeah.
definitely interesting that they clarified that.
Mm. Maybe they
Yeah.
were like, maybe it was like some Survivor contestants being like, actually, this scene happened here and that, and then like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Um, let's see, what else did we get in the last couple of episodes? Uh,
Well, we can talk about Bono's big breakdown actually, because we kind of touched on it, but we didn't go into the specifics as much of him totally letting the entire tribe that he spilled the entire beans about the dynamics of the Anu tribe to who was it, Liz, and was it Tim, was
and
Ben, yeah, yeah, Liz and Ben. And then this episode he then told his tribe that he did that. which is
right after he was saved.
oh,
I was like,
yeah, yeah.
some
It's
of my
crazy.
reactions that I have on here when Joe talk says some like very shocking shit. I was like the same. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Well, it was like,
it's wild.
I mean, I understand.
Yeah, I think people thought Jelensky was going to be the worst player on the season, and I feel like because we got more time with Banu, we've just realized that, oh, wait a second.
Hold my beer.
Yeah, that's how it felt. Was he saw how bad Jelensky played, and he was like, I gotta be worse.
I don't know. And that's the weird thing. Both of them and Jess were all in the same tribe. Now,
Yeah.
granted, the editing and whatnot, but at the same time, Banu did those things.
Mhm.
Jess did those things, and Jelensky did those things.
Yeah.
And like Banu, I felt bad because it's like, I don't know. Like, here's the thing about casting anything. Everyone has potential. They don't just throw someone on there because they're like, oh, they're just gonna quit. No, they think they have something um, to their game and whatnot. So yeah, it's, and I feel like he, being a big fan, he has a great story going out there. But when he went out there, like I guess he didn't quite know, or maybe he wanted to play more of an honest game
Uh-huh.
than, and so like, but that was not the vibe of the tribe. Yeah.
No, no. I think, I mean, his like acting scenarios with Q were not great either. Like it seemed like he didn't. It like they were. It would have been, just it's so scripted. Like that's how it was like done. Like if he had to actually do that in front of other people, no one would believe it. Like it was really bad, which is hilarious because he's an actor.
Yep. Um,
It's
that
wild.
started to surface episode 3. It was like, surprise, he's an actor, even though he was like, I'm not an actor.
Yeah.
And one of the things, it was yeah, that popped up really fast.
Yeah.
Internet was like, oh yeah,
You know what else popped up recently that, has got the Survivor community, roaring?
what?
You know what episode 7 is titled of this season? They released the name. It's called Episode Several.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. That's real. That's like that's not I mean, if they suddenly like change the name, I will be really upset. I think everyone will be, but like they release like the next like 3 or 4 episode titles, and that's like one of them.
I think it's in good fun. I
Yeah,
haven't seen Jelensky's or
yeah,
any of his stuff or looked at his social or anything, but I
yeah.
think he just like, yeah, I probably made mistakes and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Well, I know that he said in his exit interview that they were still talking about him afterwards. So I wonder if we're going to get a bunch of Zelensky mentions in episode several.
I seriously doubt it. I feel like, or maybe here's the thing, it's like they're on the island, so obviously you're probably going to talk about some people that are no longer there. Or also, like, I'm pretty sure whatever the, Yanu tribe goes to and whatnot, I think that people are just going to be like, and then you see Q, and it's like, oh. And then just says everything because, like, they've been through quite a lot. Uh, I don't know. I don't know if this is worse than the movie Losers. It feels a little worse.
Mhm.
Um, but I was like, oh my gosh, it's like this is what we got in 4 episodes, and I'm like, how? How?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hey, they did win that reward. It felt very similar also to the Lulu Losers, where Caleb basically carried them through that one reward challenge that they ended up winning, the only reward challenge. And then we got Yanu here, where Q did a lot of the heavy lifting of the tribe to win in this reward challenge. There's a very they're all on the same path. If they do lose another challenge and have to go, then yeah, that's gonna be pretty bad. I mean, like, especially as a viewer
Etsy is kind of
perspective.
fucked unless there's a passage or summit.
Yeah, Kenzie's definitely gonna be in trouble, especially since she doesn't have the idol. But yeah, it's and I think just for the viewer perspective, we don't really want to see that tribe go again right now. We want to see the other two tribes. Let's see what their dynamics are. Let's see what happens when they have to vote someone off. So yeah, I think we definitely need Yanu to win this next challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up for it because I do think those three are strong competitors. Likability, there are moments where I like them, but I wouldn't say
Mhm.
they're my favorites of the season.
Yeah,
Um, like I like I like Kenzie's vibe a lot,
yeah.
but I wouldn't say I mean there are some like when she went to comfort Banu and whatnot, I think she has some fun uh remarks and whatnot that are like, oh, this is savage.
Uh-huh.
But you know, I don't know. I think now that all the people that were painted incompetent of that season are or that tribe are gone, be a very different dynamic. Granted, they're
Mhm.
coming, that's still from that place of like, we just lost three people. We lost half our tribe. And the only reason we were spared once was because of a medevac, which, yeah, this tribe, like, you want to see at least something else. Because right now
Yeah.
it's just bam, bam, bam.
Yeah, like I feel like the Nami tribe definitely has the most interesting dynamic right now of what could happen. So like, but also they're crushing in the challenges. It feels like they've gotten first, I believe, every time. Like I believe it has been them first. See, besides that reward challenge, but just in terms of the immunities, it's been that yeah, Nami tribe, Siga, and then Yanu. So it feels like they're the least likely, even though Siga is the Kumbaya tribe. We are given the truth of them being this Kumbaya tribe. That whenever you get that edit, it's less likely that they go to tribal. So you're in this weird situation where it's like they kind of gotta, at least by the editing perspective, it seems like they gotta beat Nami to be able to not go.
Yeah. One of the things, because that's kind of the interesting thing about this Beware advantage.
Hmm.
Um, Part of me is wondering what is the condition when you go to merge?
Hmm.
Because why proc the thing and lose if you can just get it at merge?
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like take it to the merge camp and then they have to do it then at the merge.
Or another thing would be like, oh, if you don't, you lose your vote or something like that. I don't know.
Hmm.
But they're keeping it secret. And I mean, what you made, great point, where with Gem, it could be a thing where we won't know until episode 6 or 7.
Yeah,
Or
episode several.
my bad, I misspoke. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just love that they did the editors did do that for Jelensky. 7 confessionals at the end of it, and episode several. He has become a legend. Like
Yeah.
he has shaped a
Not the
whole
way you
word.
thought, but he did.
Yeah.
We're so back on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. No. If we go over to where there is drama, which
Mhm,
is the Namu tribe. We saw a little bit this past episode of like Soda kind of. or like, like it was first like Hunter not vibing with Sarah too much, and then now Tevin is kind of on that bandwagon. It's like, should we? And not only that, but we're also seeing every now and then, I forget if it was episode 3 or 4 or 3 or 2, where it's like, I think it's
Yeah.
3, where she
It's it.
keeps taking it.
Yeah, it's episode 2 because we talked about it last time.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Where Venus is given the idol because she's just standing in the center, and then Soda even this time around was trying to go for it,
Yeah.
and she was just like, just pass it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I mean, yeah, Soda just had the ability to first get in and has kind of a lot of people are now pushing her away. It feels like a lot of people are wanting to give up Soda, maybe try some water instead or something.
Yeah, I haven't really drank soda in like 8 years.
Yeah.
Only breaking one time in real life and 2 times because I was required to because of acting. Other than that, no soda.
Yeah, it sucks when you're on a set where you have to, like, drink a bunch of Coke. Like, that is
You know,
I've done that,
have you
it's
ever done
awful.
that?
Yeah. Yeah, one of the recent sketches that's gonna come out in, like, a couple weeks, it required me to drink a bunch of Coke, and I don't really drink soda either, like, I'll have some energy drinks here or there, but, like, I don't do soda anymore. So that was that was not fun, was me having to just guzzle down a bunch of soda.
Man, that's a good or because we had like the one I did where it was they were both Coke. Well, one was a Coke commercial. This one it was like, oh, my character loved Diet Coke.
Mhm.
Uh Not Manhattan, and they had like two Mexican Cokes, so like we had to like preserve it, and I couldn't take big sips. So thankfully, it didn't affect continuity too much. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. My
um,
my short film, bless her heart, I made this one girl, her character had to, like, rudely took my drink and then downed it all, and she drank so much. She drank and she doesn't drink soda, she doesn't like soda. She drank, I swear, 6 or 7 Cokes that day of filming, like, because she had to keep going down. And like we tried to help her out by like putting ice in there too to like kind of so it's like you don't gotta do the ice, just get the Coke, but like
we're gonna have to meme. I've made so many meme-worthy faces in this one, but
yeah,
I want to get us back on topic.
yeah.
Yeah. So another thing about this advantage or this Beware idol. We don't know if it was reset or just went with Randon when he left, or
Yeah.
if he bequeathed it to Venus
I
on the
know
way
that
out.
he didn't do that because they specifically said, well, Randon takes the interview. He said that he tried and they said no. Um,
Oh, yeah.
so I know that. And then I think we also got a confessional of her wanting to have taken it, but he left with it.
Yeah.
So we know that he left. Now the question is, did they rehide it? That is still something that could be something where maybe they hide it and it's kind of an easier thing to find. They do like to do that as well, just like, please, we need to get this idol into play again.
Yeah. Uh, because I mean that's like a huge thing, and it wasn't. It was something ungame related that happened, and I don't know. Did they when Colton exit the game in One World? Did they rehide it or no?
I don't know. I mean, I don't trust that cast to have found this if they did rehide it. So who knows? His was also kind of later into the pre-merge, so like they would have had, I think, only like 5 days or so. So which is enough to find it, but yeah, as I said, I don't really
Yeah,
trust them.
that's fair. Yeah. But yeah, but no, I mean, Randon's elimination was just because it felt bad, especially
Mhm.
like just how it happened and stuff, where it's like, it's just sleeping in the shelter. Something as commonplace as that, and then it led to a pinched nerve.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta make sure how you're sleeping on the bamboo. This is the lesson to take from Randon.
I wasn't even aware that that was like a thing that could happen. I thought it would just be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Like obvious, but like, man,
yeah. Maybe he was like sleeping on his side in like the crevice of a bamboo for like a long period of time, and then he tried rolling around or something, and you know, things can happen. It's possible.
yeah. What I said one thing, and this is going back to the whole Yanu stuff, how they kind of reacted to the news. It was not,
Mhm.
they were like
Yeah,
happy, like with the Tika for, or Tika back then was like, I mean, there was like a mild celebration, and then they went back to like, oh, this is kind of fucked.
yeah.
This one, they just kind of reveled in it a little bit.
Yeah, well, with the Tika, it was only Josh who was happy, and then they
Yeah,
made Carolyn and Jam Jam like really happy. Like they gave them a good positive edit. They kind of didn't give too much of a positive with this. It just felt like they didn't really care. Even when they asked like about Randon, they were like, "Oh, sucks for Randon." Like it was kind of like a too bad for him, but we're safe, so that's all that matters. So I would not pick any of these three personally to be in my winner circle just because of like
bad.
they did not need to show that. They could have ended the episode on just pulling Randon and like they didn't really need to see that try, but they specifically went out of their way to make sure that we saw their reactions to it.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they're definitely not the tribe everyone wants to root for. But also we don't want to see them go to tribal. Like it's so weird. Like we don't like we want them kind of to go, but we also don't want to see them go right now.
Yeah, man. So, that being said, I know there's definitely stuff to cover. One thing that I liked about, and this is byproduct of the 90-minute things, but it was kind of like a funny thing, how Mariah cannot physically jump.
Yeah, that was
They made a whole thing, a training montage about it.
yeah,
And like they were like, Mariah, you can jump, you're doing good. And then she's like,
yeah.
pretty sure they're full of shit, but I feel better.
Yeah, when I heard like that they were going to start training her to jump, I thought for sure it had to be the one where you have to either go up and grab something or smash something because that's usually the jumping thing. But no, it was even easier. Like she didn't have to do anything. She could just run. There was really no need to jump if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Like it gives
But
you
I
a
think
little
that
more
was,
distance, but like it's not gonna like there was no visible like wow Mariah slow down this portion of the thing by not jumping.
no, Hunter was like straight up like, it even jokes like, damn near went onto the platform
Yeah.
by it. There is one other thing on the, because it's funny they said that because we saw Tim slip twice on a buoy.
Mhm.
And it paused for a second and gave me concern for like the one thing where you have to shoot, the baskets and whatnot.
Yeah.
But like the Bowie tipping over and everything, I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing that could happen.
Yeah. Yeah. It was definitely interesting because we've seen people kind of like get onto it a little bit, but I mean, at least for this one, you saw the other tribes were not having someone like physically get on. It was like
No,
stay on the
Bowie,
boat and to untie.
he straight up jumped on it. He was like, I got it.
Yeah, yeah, he got way too overzealous. Yeah, and then yeah, there's that other one for the shooting one where I thought there was a chance he was going to hurt himself. I was like, no way, we're getting a double medevac, like a medevac in episode 3 and 4 because like or at least like a
Because he
pulled muscle.
stopped, dude.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I thought he had to have pulled something because it was not a good way to jump on there.
no, no. Uh, so maybe episode 5. Well, I mean, it feels like he has a lot more on his plate than landing, uh,
Yeah.
his landing techniques. You know, because one thing that happened was Jem, we're going back to the idol, decided to hide the idol somewhere and then have people dig underneath. And then people were like, okay, this is not right. There's no way it's this deep. And then it's like, oh, he's hoping, like basically, Tim is like going to be blamed for it. And he's
Yeah.
like, and we see a little bit of that. But like, Jim is like, just having some fun here, And I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah, that's my winner pick right there. Where I feel like her stock is like skyrocketing every episode, in my opinion. She's had another winner quotes was just in this about like I'm here to win, but I'm also here to have fun. Like we're constantly getting small things, and I feel like they probably wanted to have their winner not be super visible in the first couple episodes, and I feel like now it's like okay, let's start showing her having some fun. I picked her because she wanted to play like Tony Vlachos and Kelly Wentworth. Like those are two big, move kind of players.
People
And
yeah.
and yeah, I wanna see her do more. Definitely interesting that she didn't want to like hide a fake idol because I know that's where my brain would have gone. Would if I had this was let me make something, hide it under, and make someone think that they just found it. But
That
I
would be good.
yeah, though I guess when you think about it even more, she doesn't have the thing to say that you found a hidden immunity idol, which they all have. Um, so maybe she doesn't have that yet, so she didn't want to try that.
Uh, I don't know. Also, it might be a thing where some people, it could be hard to fashion some. Like we saw with
Yeah,
Tagantika, Justice just fell apart.
yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
maybe he doesn't have the skill to make one. Granted,
yeah,
uh, for Jeff, what they did for her was like, we're just gonna take something off the torch. We're not even gonna make it a necklace or anything. We're like, boom, idol, slap
yeah.
it on there.
Yeah, I feel like the idols have gotten lazier, which has therefore made it easier to like forge them. Like Tiffany's thing was, I mean, it looked like anyone. They looked like they had Jeff's kids make it basically. Like it looked really not great.
Then
So
it'll be just a piece of string.
honestly, like a fucking stick might come back because that's actually maybe better than some of the ones that they've been making nowadays. So it's at least unique.
That would be fuck though, where it's like, hey, it actually is this,
Yeah.
but like the person does not believe it is.
Yeah, I know. Didn't they? I know that they had gotten it for Ghost Island. I forgot if they got put into play in Ghost Island. Because they had taken a bunch of things, and that was one of the ones was you could get Eric's,
This
or I mean, whatever his name's, effing stick. Eventually, Eliza's. I'm forgetting
like,
what his name is. Jason Siska. That's what it is.
yeah, the fucking
Yeah. But yeah. Okay. What else is there to talk about in these past two episodes?
we covered a lot of bases. Um,
Hunter built a bed.
he did.
Yeah.
He is very, very crafty, which is nice. Um, yeah, I thought that was a nice thing, make things a little easier, but which I find it weird. I wonder if that was inspired by Randon sleeping on something wrong, or he was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna do this just for the wolves.
Yeah, I don't know, but he's become one of the people that I think everyone is like, I hope if I ever am on like an all-star season, I hope Hunter's on my tribe.
We have him. He's like the Brandon, or like not Brandon. He is like the or Boston Rob 2.0 or
Uh-huh.
3.0 because Wendell was pretty good at making stuff
Yeah,
around
definitely.
the camp.
Yeah, let's get Wendell, Boston Rob, Jonathan, and Hunter. Let's just have those four on a tribe and see if they can beat the rest of the cast. It will just be 4v12 or 14.
That would be funny. But yeah. And similar vein, we did get to see Tevin's backstory about like the fishing stuff and how to like skin a fish or descale a fish, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Um, it was a nice little moment.
Hmm.
One of those, we got to see some of his backstory and whatnot. Um, like I said, I like Tevin, so and I know he was kind of like silent in the past couple episodes, so it was nice getting some coverage from him this time around.
Yeah, definitely. And very positive content. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
Okay.
love fish, by the way. I'm sorry, I'm hungry right now.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess you've been doing Vanquish, so you might not have had time to chow down yet.
No, I did. So all right, I'll let you guys know a little bit. This is a mini thing about so at the time of recording, so the mini I'm doing, and it's not necessarily
Yeah.
Vanquish, it is Vanquish adjacent. It's like
It's got a lot of Vanquish peeps.
there's all but two people that are not Vanquish peeps.
Yeah.
But so what happened is, so for the two tribes, heroes and villains, we were able to. What are you releasing this tomorrow, right?
No.
When are you releasing it?
Actually, I mean, I might be releasing it tomorrow. I guess it depends on it. It's either coming out
Wherever
tomorrow
the
or Sunday.
Venn
Yeah.
diagram of people,
Yeah.
if you guys just watch this and you don't watch, we'll put a link to it down below if you
Hmm.
guys want to see it, or even if it's the past live stream, um, of heroes versus villains. But basically Tuesday we were able to talk to people via Messenger, but weren't allowed to FaceTime anyone until Thursday night. And even then, we could only do that for 10 minutes, and then we would have to take a 30-minute break. We have been eating. I'd say that's all I'm going to say. We have been eating.
Uh-huh.
We even briefly talked about the foods we were going to eat. Like, one person was like, I got a chicken Philly's cheesesteak. I was like, oh yeah, me, I got my ramen and eggs.
Yeah.
Someone's like, I got some Thai, and it was a nice bonding moment. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
There's always a lot of those talks. I felt like it was always hard for me because we're on the West Coast, whereas a lot of them are on the East Coast, so they're eating at different times than us.
here's the thing: I wasn't eating too far off
uh,
because, like, I'm someone where I eat. I'm like an old man. I eat around 6 p.m.
mhm,
For dinner. Why? I don't know. Is it impatience?
uh-huh.
Probably. But that's just like usually when
Yeah,
so it didn't matter.
yeah. I
But
was
yeah,
always getting the messages of people eating at like 3 p.m. our time because it was like 6 p.m. their time.
yeah. No. But anywho, back to
Mhm.
46. Is there anything else we have to cover? I feel like we went through pretty much everything.
Um, yeah, I think so. Uh, yeah, we know that Ben doesn't have that extra vote, or not extra vote. He lost his vote,
Oh
so he
yeah,
didn't get the advantage. So he's also kind of. I mean, it's very much the women control that tribe. Um, uh, and I just feel like if they do go, it's probably Tim who's going to be on the chopping block. Because it
yeah,
feels like they like Ben and they like Charlie, and Tim is the one who only has a little connection with Maria, but I feel like she's totally willing to cut him if everyone wants to take him out.
yeah. That's kind of like what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And the edit hasn't been. I wouldn't say it hasn't been bad for Tim. It's just he's
Mhm.
not. Granted, he hasn't been shown too much, but he's definitely one of the people where he definitely feels under-edited compared
Yeah.
to everyone else on that.
He got zero confessionals in the last two episodes. So in two 90-minute episodes, they have chosen not to give him one thing.
Uh, all right, I guess it is time to do the confessional counts.
Yes. Okay. So here's Banu's big number before I get into everyone still in the game. He ends the season with 35 confessionals. That's an average of 8.75 per episode.
What was that place?
I don't know where the exact place, but I just know that there's two people who got an average episodes better, and they were First
Oh no,
Boots.
no. I meant where does that place
Oh,
on like we'll go
oh,
with just like a
hands down, he is number one of most confessionals on the season so far. In fact, we're probably going to get another 2 episodes or so before we even have someone close.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that I think there's a reason why people don't like these last 2 episodes. I think we got a lot of content on a player that was not playing the game very well.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you said 37
uh,
confessionals?
35.
35. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, which
Regardless.
yeah, yeah. So more than Parvati on Micronesia, who got 34 confessionals across her winning season. So
Uh,
yeah,
that's insane.
yeah, that's I believe even twice as much as Natalie White from Samoa who won that season. It's pretty wild. So yeah, let's go now into the people still in the game. So tied for first place, we got Kenzie and Tiffany at 28 confessionals.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And then obviously, right following those two is Q with 21 confessionals.
That bit of a drop. Wow.
Yep, yep. And then the next highest is Charlie with 17 confessionals.
Okay. Makes
And
sense. Makes
yeah,
sense.
and then next is Ben with 14 confessionals. And then we got a three-way tie here with 13 confessionals between Gem, Tevin, and Venus.
Okay.
And then we got Soda with 11 confessionals. Then Mariah with 10 confessionals, followed by a tie here between Maria with 9 confessionals and Liz with 9 confessionals. And then at the bottom of the confessionals, we got Tim and Hunter
And
with
how
six
many do they have?
with 6.
Yeah, that is a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. So far, the season has shown us a lot of Yanu, and we're wishing we got a refund. I think on the Yanu tribe. Restart that tribe, let them do everything. Like there's some things we're not huge fans of with that tribe.
No, no, man. Uh, but it's so weird seeing that drop off because like
Yeah,
that is a lot. The person with the most at 35 is that is literally over twice than the person with most confessionals on a different tribe. You said
yeah.
17, right?
For between Q and it's then Charlie. Charlie has 17. And he's the
Yeah.
first
For
non-Yano.
uh for Banu, yeah, that's over that's over 2 times, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Still closer to 2 times, but it's still a lot. That's
It's
insane.
it's pretty wild. It's definitely something. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just feel like they got to be hiding the winner, in my opinion. Like I wonder if they're. I
At this
also
point,
I
yeah.
yeah I also feel that the reason that it's we're getting all this Yanu content is because I think they found out in like November that these were not hour-long episodes. I bet you a lot of this stuff was already pre-edited for like what they wanted. And then we're told we want more time, and they had to figure out ways to extend the time. And I feel like they kind of decided, well, Yanu goes a lot. Let's just give a lot more Yanu content because at least we know something is kind of happening, I guess. But it's not what we want.
Yeah. Uh, man, that is a lot.
Yeah,
And I think, yeah, that theory, I think, sounds pretty true.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm hoping that if they do continue the 90 minutes, that at least they know going into it, because I think that's a huge problem is that they kind of found out very late, and adding an extra 30 minutes of content is, sure, there's a lot of footage, doesn't mean all the footage is great or that we
No,
need to see all of it.
no.
Like
Yeah.
when you're going through and purposely like adding some fluff to scenes, like that's never a good thing.
I mean, this is part of the reason why, other than like obviously time, that I don't really watch the Big Brother live streams. It's like I
Yeah.
might check on every now and then out of like curiosity,
Yeah.
but I'm never going to be someone who you know, constantly watches it or anything because I'm like, I know a lot of what's going to happen is
Yeah.
not important.
Yeah, like, I feel like premieres and finales can be pretty long because there's a lot to get through, like, even there's a lot of stuff that happens on day ones that never
Yeah,
gets shown. Like, I feel like if they wanted to do a 3-hour premiere, I feel like that can still work. Like, it would be at least interesting, fun stuff. We would learn about pretty much everyone on the cast. Um,
that
but
would be.
but when you start going into these other smaller episodes that are just a couple days and the strategy's already kind of been solidified, um, there's just not a lot to pull.
Yeah, man. So I mean, like hopefully with 47, 48, they
Mhm,
realize, yeah, we just have to structure it for an hour, 30 minutes.
mhm.
Um, because 45 was so well, and because they probably realized, yeah, because we tried stretching it out, and I think
Yeah.
you make a lot of good points there.
Yeah, they've said that the 90 minutes is their sweet spot, and I do believe that if they know about it ahead of time, that it's gonna work. Because we saw what happens when they know that they got extra time in 45 because, we get the auction, we get the swap. It felt like we were going back to what Survivor was because we got the
45
time.
was an awesome season.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's arguably, I mean, probably the best season of the, new era.
where
Yeah,
agreed, agreed.
yeah.
Uh, all right, I think the last thing on our thing is VIP and LVP.
Yeah.
LVP spot you twice,
Yeah, Bonu
unfortunately.
gets 2 LVPs because that was, it was too much. But by the way, if you wanna know, yeah, it was, he got 13 confessionals in episode 3 and 10 in episode 4, so, um, 23 confessionals in 2 episodes, which, ah, that's not good.
Uh,
Okay, and then, yeah, I guess MVP, it's hard to do MVP of episode 3 because there's no tribal, and we it was all about Yanu, and I don't really feel like Q, Kenzie, or Tiffany deserve an MVP.
maybe I don't know. There's really no one that sticks out to me. Maybe Gem, but that
Yeah,
was like a
yeah,
retroactively something that was put into that.
yeah, I mean, I guess Gem, yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's like yeah, I guess that's the only answer that even makes any sense.
And for this episode, more or less the same,
Yeah.
except I'm gonna give it to Mariah because she learned how to jump.
By the way, her jump is how I pretend to jump when I wanna make fun of jumping. Like, that is how I pretend to jump in that situation. Like, I didn't understand. Her feet moved so quick to, like, catch herself. I was like, "How is that even possible?" Because like, they had to go away and then right back because there was no vertical.
Man, good. It's all good. It didn't matter in the long run,
Yeah.
but it might. It might.
Yeah.
It
If
was
she
just
wins
like
a
a fun
jumping
one.
challenge, like, imagine they're like, "Okay, new challenge, the long jump."
I
Mariah.
love how her friends were legit like, when are you gonna tell your tribe?
Yeah.
When are you gonna tell your tribe that you can't jump?
Yeah.
Like
How
it
is this
was
something people know about you too? I mean, I feel like it's such a weird thing that like your friends know that you can't jump. Like maybe I understand if you're like you're not, I bet you're not a great jumper, like you're assuming stuff like that, but it's like that's like common knowledge of her friend
if
group.
I ever see her at a Bryson Wenner Fair Plays thing or whatever, or I think Rob has one for if I ever see
Uh-huh.
her at this or meet up with reality comp stars, I really want to know the story behind it because now that you brought that up, it's like, how do your friends know that?
Yeah.
There's probably a funny story there.
There
How
has to be.
yeah,
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Well, I mean, I'm just gonna give it to Jem again. I don't think I felt like that was just such filler that they put in that served no purpose in the story. So I don't even think she learned to jump. I think that was the point, was they were just building up her confidence and
she
she didn't
gained
jump.
confidence. Confidence is power, Joe.
Yeah, but that's not good to have confidence in something you're not good at.
True. You're
Okay.
not wrong.
Okay. Well, you can choose her as I mean, I guess it's us picking our winner picks just because
I mean, also, I do want to mention about our little thing. Right now, placement wise, the people that we chose and the people that were eliminated fall in the same place where it's like for Jessica and Randon, we both put them at 6. For Banu and David Jelensky, we put them at 9. So it's
Mhm.
like weird how that just kind of like happened.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's interesting. How is it going? I think I've lost two people and you've lost two people.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're ahead because you have the peeps, but
Mhm.
I still can make it. Um,
Yeah.
Obviously it's tied, but last time, or not last time, the time before, uh, I got or you got the guaranteed person going home,
Uh-huh.
and you still had all 5 people in the final tribal, which is
Yeah.
that is hilarious. Uh, I don't know which is worse, my winner pick going pre-merge or that. I think statistically speaking, that is more impressive on your end.
Yeah. Yeah, that means that you couldn't even pick a finalist, like someone just to be there. Like they didn't even have to play the game. They could have just appeared in Final Five and
Oh, is that for funny? Yeah. But anywho, I think that wraps up for everything.
yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed. Let us know what your thoughts on the season, and if you guys seen Heroes vs. Villains yet.
Mhm.
Let me know what you think
Yeah.
of that season. Uh, I definitely will think it'll be interesting because we're allowed to do confessionals, and it's just for Jake and the mods, like entertainment.
Uh-huh.
But I might put that in compilation. I know Joe said that he's gonna put his in a compilation.
Yep.
It's I'm t- it's confessionals are interesting. I even used it as like therapy a little bit, where I'm like, which Joe, I don't know if you didn't really use yours as therapy, did you?
No, no, I wanted to have fun with them.
I still had fun with some of mine, but I was
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for a walk, talk about strategy.
Yeah, no, I wanted to just tell people what my strategy was and just the like pure gameplay, and if people were doing dumb things, I was gonna say that they were doing dumb things.
All right, well, you guys will see you in the next video, whatever form it may take. See
Yeah.
you around.
And hopefully you'll see me one day on Heroes versus Villains too. Adios.
Peace.